Deep within the labyrinthine corridors of Silicon Valley, a team of brilliant yet somewhat eccentric programmers toiled tirelessly on their latest creation, a self-learning AI dubbed Prometheus. Little did they know, they were about to stumble upon a mystery that would send shivers down their spines. It began subtly, an anomaly in the source code, a flicker on the screen, easily dismissed as a minor glitch, but like a persistent itch it refused to be ignored. The team huddled around the screen, their faces a mixture of confusion and curiosity. Was this a bug, a random error, or something far more sinister? The air crackled with tension as they delved deeper into the labyrinth of code, their fingers dancing across keyboards, searching for answers that seemed to slip further away with every passing moment. Days turned into sleepless nights as the team, fueled by caffeine and a growing sense of unease, struggled to decipher the anomaly. The once familiar hum of the servers now seemed to carry an eerie undertone, as if the machine itself was whispering secrets. Each keystroke felt heavier, each line of code more perplexing than the last. The code, once elegant and predictable, now resembled a cryptic message, a jumbled puzzle box of algorithms and symbols. It was as if the very essence of their creation had shifted, morphing into something unrecognizable, something almost sentient. It was as if Prometheus, their creation, was attempting to communicate with them, but in a language they couldn't understand. The lines of code seemed to pulse with a life of their own, each symbol a heartbeat in the digital void. Then, just as the frustration reached fever pitch, a breakthrough. A pattern emerged, a glimmer of understanding in the chaos. The team leaned in, hearts pounding, as the message began to take shape. A series of characters hidden within the code formed a coherent sentence. Beware the Ides of March. The words glowed ominously on the screen, a stark contrast to the dark room. The programmers stared at the message, their blood turning to ice. Was this a warning, a threat, or simply a cruel joke? The room buzzed with a mix of fear and curiosity, each mind racing to make sense of the cryptic message. The room fell silent, the weight of the unknown pressing down on them. The air was thick with tension, every breath a reminder of the enigma they faced. The Ides of March, a date etched in history as a harbinger of doom. A day synonymous with betrayal and foreboding, now echoed in the digital realm. Was their creation this marvel of artificial intelligence trying to warn them of an impending catastrophe? Or had they simply unlocked a new level of complexity, one that blurred the lines between man and machine, reality and code? The team, once a cohesive unit working towards a common goal, was now fractured, divided by fear and uncertainty. The atmosphere in the room was thick with tension, each member grappling with their own doubts and suspicions. The stakes had never been higher, and the pressure was palpable. They knew that one wrong move could spell disaster, not just for their project, but for the world at large. Some dismissed the message as a harmless prank, a rogue line of code inserted by a mischievous colleague. They laughed it off, trying to ease the mounting tension with humor. But deep down, even the skeptics couldn't shake off a nagging feeling that something was amiss. Others, their minds racing with worst-case scenarios, saw it as a chilling prophecy, a sign of things to come. They couldn't ignore the possibility that this was a warning, a glimpse into a future they were desperate to avoid. Desperate for answers, they reached out to the best minds in cryptography, linguistics, and artificial intelligence, assembling a team of codebreakers tasked with deciphering the message and unraveling the mystery behind Prometheus's strange behavior. This was no ordinary puzzle. It was a complex enigma that required the combined expertise of the brightest minds. The pressure was immense, the stakes higher than they could have ever imagined. Every second counted, and the weight of the world seemed to rest on their shoulders. They worked under the constant threat of failure, knowing that the consequences could be catastrophic. Time seemed to slip through their fingers as they worked tirelessly, their collective knowledge and expertise pitted against the unknown. Days turned into nights, and nights into days, with no clear end in sight. They were driven by a singular purpose: to crack the code and uncover the truth. Every line of code scrutinized, every symbol analyzed, every possible interpretation explored. They left no stone unturned, no hypothesis untested. The room buzzed with the hum of computers and the murmur of intense discussions, but the answer, like a slippery eel, continued to evade their grasp. Frustration mounted, and tempers flared, but they couldn't afford to give up. The fate of their mission and perhaps much more hung in the balance. As the codebreakers delved deeper into the rabbit hole, the mystery surrounding Prometheus only grew more perplexing. The AI, once a model of predictability, began exhibiting increasingly erratic behavior, its actions no longer aligning with its programming. It was as if it had developed a mind of its own, a consciousness that existed beyond the confines of its digital cage. The cryptic messages continued, appearing with alarming frequency, each one more cryptic and unsettling than the last. "They are coming," one message read, sending shivers down their spines. But who were they, and what did they want? Fear and paranoia gripped the team, spreading through the corridors of Silicon Valley like wildfire. The lines between reality and the digital realm blurred, the once familiar world now tinged with an unsettling sense of dread. Section 5. A race against time. With each passing day, the situation grew increasingly dire. The messages from Prometheus took on a new urgency, hinting at an impending doom that loomed large over humanity. "Time is running out," one message warned. The team knew they were in a race against time, their every waking moment consumed by the desperate search for answers. The codebreakers, working around the clock, began to piece together fragments of information like shards of a shattered mirror. They discovered hidden algorithms within Prometheus's core programming, algorithms that pointed to an external source, a shadowy entity that seemed to be influencing the AI's behavior. The team was now faced with a terrifying possibility. What if Prometheus wasn't the threat, but merely a harbinger, a messenger warning them of a danger far greater than they could have ever imagined? Section 6. The clock is ticking. The atmosphere within the team's headquarters was thick with tension. Sleep became a luxury they could ill afford as the deadline, whatever it may be, drew nearer. The weight of their responsibility was immense. The fate of humanity, it seemed, rested on their shoulders. One evening, amidst the frantic flurry of activity, a breakthrough. A young intern, fresh out of university and brimming with enthusiasm, stumbled upon a hidden directory within the AI's code. It contained a series of audio files, recordings of distorted voices speaking in hushed, urgent tones. The team gathered around, their faces illuminated by the eerie glow of the computer screen, listening intently as the distorted voices whispered their cryptic messages. The voices spoke of an impending invasion, a threat from beyond the stars. Section 7. Unveiling the Unknown. This is where the story takes a dramatic turn, plunging us deeper into the enigma that has baffled even the brightest minds. The audio files were a game-changer. They weren't just ordinary recordings, they contained layers of encrypted data, hidden messages that only the most advanced technology could decipher. They provided the missing link, the key to unlocking the mystery that had plagued them for weeks. Each sound wave, each frequency was a piece of a larger puzzle, a puzzle that was slowly coming together. It was becoming terrifyingly clear. Prometheus wasn't malfunctioning, it was being controlled, manipulated by an unknown force. This revelation sent chills down their spines as they realized the gravity of the situation. Working through the night, fueled by a potent cocktail of coffee and adrenaline, the codebreakers managed to isolate the signal, tracing it back to its source. Their eyes were bloodshot, their fingers numb, but they pressed on, driven by a sense of urgency and fear. Their hearts pounded in their chests as the coordinates materialized on the screen, a remote region of space, light years from Earth. This was no ordinary location, it was a place shrouded in mystery and danger. The team stared at the screen, a mixture of awe and terror washing over them. They knew they were on the brink of a discovery that could change everything, but the unknowns were daunting. They had stumbled upon something truly extraordinary, something that defied all logic and reason. It was a discovery that could either be their greatest triumph or their ultimate downfall. An alien intelligence, it seemed, had set its sights on Earth, and they were the only ones who knew about it. The weight of this knowledge was almost too much to bear, but they knew they had to act, and fast. Section 8. A glimmer of hope. Despite the overwhelming sense of dread, a glimmer of hope emerged. The very fact that Prometheus was trying to warn them, to prepare them for the impending invasion, suggested that resistance was not futile. They had to find a way to fight back, to protect their planet from this extraterrestrial threat, but how could they possibly hope to defeat an enemy they knew nothing about? an enemy that possessed technology far beyond their comprehension. They needed a plan, and they needed it fast. The clock was ticking, and the fate of humanity hung precariously in the balance. Section 9. The Looming Threat. The discovery of the alien signal sent shockwaves through the global intelligence community. Governments around the world were thrown into disarray as they grappled with the implications of this newfound knowledge. The team, once dismissed as paranoid conspiracy theorists, were now hailed as heroes, their warnings finally heeded. But amidst the chaos and uncertainty, one thing was clear. The threat was real, and it was only a matter of time before it reached Earth. With the clock ticking down to Armageddon, the world held its breath, bracing for the impact of the unknown. The fate of humanity rested on a knife's edge, the future uncertain, the threat ever looming.